And then the next example that we see here, remember, you were looking for two things. How is it moving and where does it start? Well, again, we can identify this as being an arithmetic sequence by it does have a common difference of moving up by the same number every single time. Okay, and again, being able to find that number, remember, so our common difference, right, our D value here. Okay, and again, just kind of successful numbers or succeeding numbers here. We're going to take the first one, subtract, or the second number we see subtracted by the first number that we see. Okay, so term 2 minus term 1, -1 minus 7 is -8. Okay, so remember our common difference, that's the first part of our explicit equation that we need, is -8. So as you can see, you're subtracting 8 to get from one number to the next, going from term 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and it's kind of so forth here. All right, and looking for term number 1, right, that a sub 1 term. Remember, a sub 1 is the first term of the sequence. And remember, sequences, again, are listed as your counting numbers. So the first number that you see there is our first term. All right, so now that we got the two pieces that we need, we can go ahead and build our equation, right? Our sequence a sub n is equal to that a sub 1, the first term in the sequence that we said to be 7, plus n minus 1, right, a term number minus 1 to go back to our previous number, times a common difference, right? In this particular case, we found our common difference to be -8. So just using the generic formula, right, these are the numbers that we see. And again, we've got a little bit of a mess that we can kind of clean up here. So this number here is stuck by multiplication, so we can go ahead and distribute this -8 to the n and the -1. All right, so then a sub n is equal to 7 plus, right, -8 times n is -8. -8 times -1 is +8. Oh, what am I doing? N, 8n. Okay, so now I've got like terms. I've got a 7 and an 8. So a sub n is equal to my -8n. 7 plus 8 is 15. So again, like we said before, this is the generic, or this is an equation that is 100% set up to that sequence there, right? If we wanted to know any term of this sequence, right, we can use that formula, right? So we can take a number that we already know. We know that the third number is -9. So if I put in 3 for n, right, the term number, a sub 3 equals -8 times 3. -8 times 3 is -24. -24 plus 15 is, well, -9, right? So this is the... Right, so this is the equation that is 100% unique to that sequence. So if I were to ask, what would be the 50th term? Or we already did the 50th once. What's the 100th term? Okay, so again, you don't have the time or the energy to kind of lay out all, constantly subtracting 8 from this sequence. We've got an equation. So we're asking for the 100th term. So a sub 100 is equal to that common difference of 8. Well, we want that 100 times, right? We want 100 terms down the sequence. So the common difference of -8 100 times plus this kind of initial value of 15. Well, -8 times 100 is -800. -800 plus 15 is... Let's see, just double checking the calculator. -800 plus 15, yeah, is -785. Okay, so again, we just found that the 100 term, and we can kind of write that like this. A sub 100 is equal to -785. Cool. So then I've got one other example for you. Okay, so we've got this sequence, and again, what is the 30th? Okay, I want to know what the 30th term is. Okay, so again, we've got to find that common difference. How are we getting from one number to the next? Well, again, kind of succeeding numbers here. The common difference is that second number I see, negative 3.9. I'm going to subtract the first number that I see. Careful with your signs, right? You're subtracting a negative here, right? It's a common difference, so that's your subtraction, but the number you're subtracting is also a negative. So that's why you see the double negatives there. Okay, double checking your calculator. So negative 3.9 minus a negative 7 is 3.1. So we can see that our numbers are actually getting bigger, right? Where the negatives are getting smaller. We're headed towards the positive numbers. So you can see that our common difference is a positive value. Okay, so that's the first piece that you need. And then you also need to know, where does this guy start? Which term 1, right? A sub 1 seems to be negative 7. All right, cool. So let's put our pieces together and write our equation. A sub n is equal to our first term being negative 7 plus n minus 1 times d that we found to be 3.1. I'm going to go ahead and distribute that 3.1. So a sub n is equal to negative 7 plus 3.1 n minus 3.1. Again, we've got like terms we can combine. Negative 7 plus or minus a negative 3.1. So a sub 1 is equal to 3.1 n. Negative 7 minus 3.1 is a negative 10.1. And it's okay to use your calculator to kind of double check and move along as we go here. So again, remember the whole goal was to find that 30th term, right? When we write in an equation or terms of a sequence, n, that n value refers to the term of the sequence. Okay, so the term number. And if I want the 30th term, I'm asking for a sub 30. So everywhere I see an n, I'm running out of room. Everywhere I see an n, I am going to put a 30. Okay, so a sub 30 is equal to that common distance of 3.1 30 times minus a 10.1 to get us back to our initial value. Again, don't be afraid to use your calculator here. So you're going to see me word for word put this in the calculator. 3.1 parentheses 30, close my parentheses, minus 10.1. Hit enter, and it looks like that the 30th term, if we had to list these things out, for each term, a sub 30 is 82.9. Okay, so that was my third example for you, being able to write the equation. Like I said, it shouldn't be too much more of an extension. We did a lot of stuff with linear equations. You need two things. How is it moving? Where does it start? Okay, being able to write the equation or an explicit equation of an arithmetic sequence, kind of follows suit. Remember, two things. Where does it start, a sub 1, and how is it moving? That common difference. You need letter D there. Okay, hope this helps. Reach out if you're still stuck, if you need more examples, I can happily provide those for you.